The power of the outline. In this lesson, you will discover how to build a basic outline without compromising the creative process. The outline of a book, even if temporary, provides a sense of clarity and direction. It is the map to your destination. Before you start writing, you need to organize your ideas using an outline. Outlines are essential because they assist you with visualizing the plan, establish what your goals are, help to finalize your manuscript faster, remind you to stay centered, make sure your stories link to each other, organize your story as a whole, beginning, middle, and end, inspire and motivate you to finish the work, keep you focused on details you could easily miss. When working with an outline, remember to be free during the writing process. Your outline will enable you to write with creativity and freedom, but also with a sense of clarity and direction. Everything in your first outline can be changed or replaced, so don't worry about making a mess. This is your brainstorming phase, so have fun. Once you have all the titles and/or a short description for your stories written in the outline, it is time to tell each story. At this stage, you can allow yourself to be creative, free, messy, as I said before. But when rewriting comes, however, you need to pay a lot more attention. Making sure your stories are faithful to the topic and that they connect directly to your message. Practicing with an outline. Let's explore what this process would look like. Step 1. Example outline. Please read and study this extensive outline for a moment. This is actually an outline from my finished and published book. So by using that as a model to create your own first outline, you will find yourself on the right path to writing a well-written book. Step 2. Analyzing the outline. Let's explore the introduction. This section contains the most powerful words you put together in your book. This is because it is the reader's first impression of your work, their first exposure to your writing on that specific topic. This experience can easily interest or disappoint the reader. Readers who have never heard of you and your work will only continue to read your book if it engages them within the first few pages. An introduction is most often needed for nonfiction books such as memoirs. The purpose of an introduction is to explain the whys, or the reason you wrote the book and why it is worth the reader's time. The introduction is sometimes written by a different person and often praises or recommends your work. I recommend writing the introduction last. This is what I did with my book. Here is a sample with a few paragraphs. Parts and chapters. You can divide your book into parts or sections. Though parts are optional, it is a good way to arrange your book's content. The idea is to organize your content by topic and then arrange them according to their logical development. Next, we'll classify each part or subsection into chapters. This is how our sample outline here is structured. This arrangement, parts and chapters, can follow a chronological order or a sequence of related events, providing readers with a much more enjoyable and interesting experience. While parts and chapters are usually similar in length, this is not a rule. Note in the sample outline that parts contain different amounts of content in relation to one another, but as long as they have a clear and logical consistency, you'll be fine. Parts and chapters should flow. In other words, the end of each part and/or chapter connects to the beginning of each new chapter or part. Let's explore our outline sample more deeply. This is the story of a woman who lived almost 40 years of her life hiding her unhappiness behind a fit and healthy-looking body, social accomplishments, and relationships. However, finding joy was a secret she never gave up on. Part 1. So Part 1 contains 3 chapters that follow a logical sequence of events describing the circumstances that gave rise to the reasons she became obsessed with physical fitness and health. Chapter 1 covers the early events of her childhood when she is in a hopeless state. Chapter 2 covers her teenage years and the moments when she finds hope and loses it again. Chapter 3 covers her adulthood when there are major changes in her life, and yet she finds herself in the same situation of finding and losing hope. Part 2 contains 3 chapters. This section describes the most successful moments of her life and her attempts to connect physical activities to spirituality. Chapter 4 covers her new successful career and describes her unsuccessful attempts to truly connect with her clients. And Chapter 5 covers her reflections on conventional fitness and how they did help her find happiness. It also covers the process of participating in and winning a fitness competition. Part 3 contains 3 chapters. This section describes the moments of great change that inspired her to walk on the path of joy. Chapter 6 covers how she finally finds the courage to break away from the old mindset to live the life she always wished for. Chapter 7 shows how she integrates fitness and spirituality. Chapter 8. Chapter 8 covers the mindset of someone who is on the path of true happiness and discusses how to recognize when you are on the right path. Conclusion. It covers important lessons she learned throughout life about finding joy. Here, each lesson is organized by a specific theme. Of course, you can choose a different ending to your book. You don't have to list what you've learned from the most significant people or moments in your life. In this particular case, it works well because the story is not ending there. I knew I would be writing a second book that picks up from where the first one left off. Final reflections. This is completely optional. I decided to include this in my book because I had written some inspirational pieces for magazines and they were directly related to my journey on the path of finding happiness. Acknowledgements. In this part, you will thank the people who have inspired, encouraged, or support you in writing your book. You will also thank those who made your aspiration possible. My advice is to be sincere and creative too when writing about them. Appendices. I included this section because I wanted to share some specific methods, training, and diet for achieving physical fitness. However, I didn't want these methods to appear as relevant as the other content in my book. The end. This wording simply stays this way, although you might write a phrase or a personal quote below it, and I did. Here is a summary for the structure when building the content of your outline. Title each chapter. Write your main ideas for each chapter. List the events, facts, story each chapter covers. Title your parts last if you choose to structure this way. I strongly recommend that you try this outline structure as a model for organizing your ideas. This will help you a ton. When working with your outline, always keep in mind your book's message. This is to ensure that your topics, the events, the facts, and the stories for each section are connected to the main message. Thank you for taking this course. It's my deepest wish that it has planted in you a seed that will sprout into this enjoyable and transformative experience that one day can give birth to an inspirational memoir. Thank you again, and much love to you.